I'm Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Chronograph 2. You can see this watch and you can buy it on our website. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos and click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with additional high resolution images, accessories included, and naturally full pricing details. Now, JLC teased its Master Compressor Chronograph, the first, in 2004, and in 2010 it followed up with the sequel, the watch you see here. This is the Master Compressor Chronograph 2, aesthetically and substantively different. We'll get into those after the fit, because the fit comes first. I'm happy to say that if you wore the original comfortably, you're going to love this. Still 41.5 millimeters. It's also remarkably thin for a complicated sports watch. 13.5 millimeters with a sloped bezel and sapphire. It easily slides underneath a dress cuff. This is a versatile watch. Black dial, white metal, and a leather strap. This could be your only timepiece. Given its 100-meter water resistance, it's even good for poolside or within the pool. Now, I'm going to add that the watch has what's become a fairly standardized industry large watch lug-to-lug span. 49.5 millimeters, I found that 50 millimeter lug-to-lug sweet spot is becoming more and more common on watches designed since the heady days of the 2000s when watches seemingly couldn't get big enough, fast enough. This is a little bit more sober, and it means that this large sports watch nevertheless can be worn on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference with a good sense of proportion and security. You can also see that because of the strap, which is wonderfully unconstrained by the flanks of the case, traditional straight spring bars mean you can pull the strap straight down around the tight curve of a smaller wrist. It doesn't have any tendency to flare out like some of the conforming end-piece JLC rubber straps do. It's paired with JLC's double deployant steel clasp, and having owned both the single fold deployants and double fold deployants from JLC, I can tell you that the double folds are better if you have a small wrist, because once the watch is cinched down really tight on a smaller wrist, having just that one big up and over can, well, to say the least, pinch you. This is a little bit easier because the two small folds. Better again if you have the watch tight on your wrist. A smaller wrist prefers the double fold deployant. And because of the shape of the pin buckle portion, it does look like a traditional pin buckle when it's closed for elegance and a low profile. Now JLC, with the original Master Compressors, featured robust leather straps. They were shockingly substantial considering the size of the watch, featuring strong bolstered center splines and double stitching, and the trend continues. Here you can see black monotone stitched alligator leather, double stitched as in the originals, with a soft hand-cut calfskin on the bottom. I'll also add that one of the best features of the oversized Master Compressor Extremes makes its way to the standard Master Compressor line here with JLC's pull-tab quick-release lugs. Now you can see how it works. Now you get all the benefit of being able to swap your strap with none of the downsides that come with proprietary quick-release lug systems. So if you've seen the systems used by Cartier and IWC, this is nothing like those. This uses standard spring bars, as you can see, so any aftermarket or factory strap that is the correct lug spacing will fit in, giving you a world of options to customize your watch. And again, you can do it with your fingernail in seconds, as I just demonstrated. Now, the watch features satin finish as well as polished highlights with beautiful lug bevels, so JLC, which continues to assemble and finish watches by hand, remains a solid cut above some machine-assembled and machine-finished classes of watches. I'm going to say this is definitely a step up in terms of sports watch complexity, fit, and finish from something like an Omega, a Rolex, some of the middle-of-the-market IWCs and Panerai, and that continues inboard on the dial. Now, here's the thing about the dial. A lot has changed, but it maintains the essential aesthetic. Here's what's changed in detail. The tachymetric scale compared to the original Master Compressor Chronograph has been pared back a little. It's about half as thick as it was. It used to impinge a little bit and pinch the center dial, shrinking the hour track, crowding the complications. Here, the tachymetric scale has been rolled back so that the dial can breathe better. Both of the registers for the chronograph, hours at 9 o'clock and minutes at 3, have a completely revised aesthetic. They still use a radial minutes display at 3 and a rotating disc at 9, but both have been completely redesigned. Now the date has moved from 6 o'clock on the original to 4:30 on the Compressor 2, and whereas the original had only an Arabic numeral 12 at 12 o'clock, this one now features a smaller constant second subregister and a white gold polished and fully loomed Arabic numeral 6 to provide a vertical axis from 12 to 6. Now, another change on the case back is the return of the much-loved 18-karat rose gold Master Compressor Geosphere 1000 hours control medallion. The medallion signifies that the movement, in this case a caliber 751F, has passed JLC's in-house Master 1000's control. Now, the Master 1000 hours control is a fully cased up watch test, unlike the COSC chronometer test, which just tests movement. This watch has been tested as a completed timepiece for water resistance, shock resistance, power reserve, winding efficiency, and chronometric performance. Now, what's underneath that caseback is a JLC 39 joule 277 piece caliber 751F, part of the first family of JLC in-house automatic chronograph calibers introduced in the early 2000s. It has twin mainspring barrels, a 65-hour power reserve, a vertical clutch for engaging the chronograph, and a column wheel for selecting its functions, so it's crisp to actuate and very precise without any jump or stagger when you start it. Plus, because of the vertical clutch, you can simply leave the chronograph engaged if you prefer to have seconds at center and you don't like to read off a subdial. Just leave the chronograph running. So now you have hours, minutes, and seconds at center for easy reading. Plus, the watch features hacking, so when you pull the crown, you stop the balance and you can precisely synchronize the watch to an atomic clock, and a quick set for the date, so you can correct the watch should it ever run down or encounter an irregular length a month. Now finally, the watch features JLC's signature compressor crowns. Now they're color-coded, and I'll show you how that works. White, you're tight. You can see the white arrow. So now the watch has 100-meter water resistance. Turn it over, red, you're dead. Now you can use the crown functions, and the pushers also have this. But the key here is that 1/2 turn gives you 100-meter water resistance, and you can easily use the winglets when your hands are wet, gloved, or sweaty. So much more practical than a conventional cinched down screw-in crown, and so much easier to use, plus emblematic of JLC design. You can see this Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Chronograph 2 and purchase it on our website.